The other big issue this week, and I want to let you know about this, I want to reassure you that Judicial Watch is on it, is this new issue of so-called ballot harvesting. Now in California, the liberals in California changed the law to allow for third parties who don't know individuals to collect ballots and deliver them to polling locations or places where the votes are going to be counted. Now, the reason that's not legal, mostly, in virtually every other state in the union, is because it's a recipe for fraud. It's a way to farm votes illegally, potentially. It's a way to suppress votes illegally, potentially. Say, I'll deliver your ballot, and it never gets delivered. And in a place like California, where you've got 300, for instance, in Orange County, it's largely been attributed to the many Republican seats flipped. And that's largely been attributed to this ballot harvesting efforts that Democrats engaged in. Now, legally. Now, the law allowed it, so I don't blame the Democrats for doing it. More power to them if they're going to follow the law. Republicans didn't do it. But I think it's a bad policy and a recipe for fraud. The irony is, in North Carolina, it shows why it needs to be changed. Before I leave California, by the way, in Orange County, Judicial Watch found there are 350,000 people on the rolls who probably shouldn't be on the rolls. They're either dead and ineligible to vote or otherwise moved. That's why ballot harvesting is so concerning. In North Carolina, there's an operative involved in a Republican contest in North Carolina. I think the Republican won barely by less than 1,000 votes. So one of the operatives involved was also harvesting ballots in North Carolina, except he didn't deliver them. And so Democrats are crying foul. Now, isn't it interesting now that when Democrats are the victim and the left are the victims of voter fraud, they admit there's possible voter fraud? I thought there was no such thing as voter fraud. And you can see why it's tempting in close races for both Republicans and Democrats to engage in voter fraud. Now, I think the left generally wants weak election integrity laws because they do really want to be able to steal elections if necessary. But in North Carolina, it's illegal to harvest ballots for the reasons that for the very result that allegedly happened in North Carolina, where the guy was collecting ballots of Democrats and not delivering them, where that's the supposed concern. So in North Carolina, someone harvesting ballots and illegally holding them back is rightly, there's a concern, or let's put it this way, someone who is harvesting ballots, there's concern he engaged in fraud. And people are outraged. In California, people are harvesting ballots and everyone's saying how politically smart they are. Judicial Watch is investigating both in North Carolina and in California more specifically to make sure that the ballot harvesting did not encourage and induce fraud in those various election contests throughout the state. So Judicial Watch has this big election integrity project. We already have a major lawsuit in California trying to get that state, and specifically Los Angeles County, to clean up its rolls, where they have more people on the rolls than are eligible to vote. And as part of this effort, we're going to be examining the numbers to make sure that no fraud took place in this ballot harvesting effort in California, like what took place in North Carolina, supposedly. So we're on top of that.